We expect people who live in this country to play by the rules. We expect that those who cut the line will not be unfairly rewarded. So we're going to offer the following deal. If you've been in America for more than 5 years, if you have children who are American citizens or legal residents, if you register, pass a criminal background check, and you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes, you'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation. I know some of the critics of this action call it amnesty. Well, it's not. Amnesty is the immigration system we have today. Millions of people who live here without paying their taxes or playing by the rules, while politicians use the issue to scare people and whip up votes at election time. That's the real amnesty, leaving this broken system the way it is. Mass amnesty would be unfair. Mass deportation would be both impossible and contrary to our character.
Well, there you have it. A couple of the bites from tonight's speech. President Barack Obama outlining his plans on executive action. Really the big issue here, JD, and we heard that in that first bite, expanding out the deferred action for these childhood arrivals to their parents. Also with us, continuing our special coverage, Clara del Villar and also Rachel Campos Duffy. Rachel is joining us from Wisconsin. Clara is joining us from our New York City studios. Clara is the CEO and editor-in-chief of the Hispanic Post. Clara, let's start with you. We know that there has been threats of lawsuits already from the states of Texas and Oklahoma. How do you think that does in terms of trying to check and push back against this president, since we know Congress can't really do anything until January when the new Congress takes their seats?
I think it's a sensible place to start, gentlemen. I think that essentially it's a much more constructive place to start to look at the patterns and the issues that might be involved with. And I'll get to those in a moment. I think it's a much more productive place to start than talk about government shutdown, which Senator McConnell actually didn't support 2 years ago and doesn't support now, I would guess. And impeachment is just not a productive way to go. I think challenging the notion that the congressional authority is not part of this process is a place to go. And also, when you really think about it, the president has rebuked his own stated view of what democracy is all about. He said all along that he lacked the authority as president to make a unilateral decision.
And Clara, even as litigation is contemplated, it appears one of the difficulties is the time it would take in the courts. Is the president essentially betting that even if court cases are brought, he will go ahead and just move to fill this vacuum, go forward with this, what I consider to be amnesty, and it will become, in essence, the law of the land, even though technically it is not the law of the land?
Well, gentlemen, I would say raise a couple of issues. For the first part, I think that administratively, think how complicated the Obamacare issue was. We have an antiquated immigration system here that is far less developed than anything Obamacare had. It's going to take years to get millions of people up and running. So within that time, the Republicans have plenty of time to sow the seeds of doubt, understandable doubt here, that without congressional authority, this is not a robust or substantive law that can hold on for years to come. I think, in my opinion, my fear is that we have now a two-tiered Hispanic community in the United States. Those that are here legally and went through the process, and those now that have questionable presidential authority behind them.
Well, Rachel, we hear this a lot. We heard it from the president again tonight about bringing these folks out of the shadows. What did you think about the president's use of that kind of rhetoric in this particular speech?
Well, sure. I mean, I think it's effective. It probably sounds good on television. I think that Claire brings up a really good point. The Republicans have an opportunity here. If they could come together and come up with a far better solution, one that's more durable, one that takes care of just how complex. I think Claire did a good job of describing that. Here's the deal, and this is why I really think he's counting. He's betting on Republicans doing something, I'm not sure what that is, that he thinks they're going to do, to turn this into a Todd Aiken moment. Because remember, the poll says 42% of Hispanics prefer a real solution, doing it the right way. And the reason is, I think that they're afraid. They lost by 10 points again with the Hispanics in the or the Republicans made a 10-point gain with Hispanics in the midterms. If you take immigration, the immigration thing off the table, we are able to get it off the table. The conservative Republican agenda is very attractive to Hispanics.
Well, Rachel, we'll have to leave it there. We're
entrepreneurial.
running out of
So
time.
I think it's important that they not throw away these gains.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Rachel Campos, Duffy, also Clara Del Villar, thanks for being with us. We'll be back with more.